So how many Robins have there really been? Sounds like a simple geek trivia question, but trust me, the answer is way more complicated and, honestly, more controversial than you'd think. Because when you ask that question in the main DC universe, you're not just asking for a number. An angry, troubled kid he caught trying to steal the tires right off the Batmobile. Talk about a rough start. What makes Tim so unique is that he wasn't an orphan Batman stumbled upon. He was a genius detective in his own right who, as a kid, figured out who Batman and the original Robin were all on his own. Tim didn't want the job for the adventure. He's the biological son of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul. He wasn't just raised to be a hero. In the main DC Comics continuity, the official count is 5. Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, and Damian Wayne. But that number just doesn't do the story justice. Doesn't include incredible alternate reality Robins like Carrie Kelly from The Dark Knight Returns, or the We Are Robin movement, where hundreds of regular Gotham teens took up the symbol to protect their own. The mantle of Robin has become something more than just a sidekick. It's a legacy, passed down from one generation to the next, a symbol of hope, and more often than not, a symbol of incredible sacrifice. He was raised from birth by the League of Assassins to be a killer. Let us know down in the comments, and if you want more deep dives into comic book lore, make sure to like and subscribe. He's arrogant, violent, and lethally skilled. Basically, the polar opposite of every Robin that came before him. His entire journey has been a battle against his own upbringing, struggle to understand his father's no-killing rule, and the true weight of the mantle he wears. As the literal son of Batman, Damian brings a whole new layer of family drama and tension to the role, constantly pushing Batman's limits. He tracked down Batman and argued that he needed a Robin, that Robin was a partner who could pull him back from the edge, and keep him from falling completely into darkness. He didn't just take on the mantle. He redefined it. Tim was celebrated for his mind, and many argue he was the best detective to ever wear the AR. He eventually grew into his own hero, Red Robin, proving his theory right. Unlike Dick, Jason was a street kid with a massive chip on his shoulder. And his time as Robin was way more violent and reckless. Robin, whose spot on the list is probably the most debated of. I'll drop a comment and let me know who you think is the most underrated Robin so far. He was a darker Robin for a darker time. You might know her first as the vigilante spoiler, or as Tim Drake's girlfriend. Well, when Tim briefly quit the job, Stephanie stepped up and demanded a shot. Her time as Robin was intense, chaotic, and short. Batman, being the tough mentor he is, fired her for disobeying an order. Shortly after, she was caught in the middle of a massive gang war and seemingly killed. For a long, long time, DC didn't officially count her as a Robin, and her status was a huge point of debate among fans. But they've since made it right and confirmed her place in the legacy. She eventually came back, not as Robin, but as the fan-favorite hero Batgirl, and fans were completely divided. That division led DC Comics to do something wild. They set up a 1 to 900 number and let fans vote on whether Jason should live or die. The readers voted for death. In the now infamous story, A Death in the Family, the Joker brutally murdered him with a crowbar. For years, Jason's death became Batman's greatest failure, a ghost that haunted his every move. But this is comics, and death isn't always permanent. Jason was eventually brought back to life, and he returned to Gotham as the gun-wielding anti-hero, Red Hood. A man forever shaped by the trauma of being the Robin who died. You're uncovering a legacy built on hope, shattered by tragedy, defined by the iconic R. To really get why the answer is so loaded, we have to go all the way back to the beginning with the original Boy Wonder. First up, of course, is Dick Grayson, who swung onto the scene way back in Detective Comics number 38. Dick was a young circus acrobat who watched his parents get murdered. And a grieving Bruce Wayne took him in, seeing a reflection of his own pain. But Dick wasn't just a sidekick. He was the literal light to Batman's darkness. He brought color and hope to the grim streets of Gotham, and for years, he was Robin. But kids grow up, and a boy wonder can't stay a boy forever. To step out of Batman's shadow and become his own man, Dick Grayson eventually hung up the cape and became the hero Nightwing. His departure left a huge hole in the Batcave and in Batman's life, a hole that was about to be filled by tragedy. After Dick left, Batman found a new Robin in Jason Todd. After Jason's murder, A heartbroken Batman swore he would never endanger a partner again. But a brilliant kid named Tim Drake had other plans. Right before we get to the next in line was Stephanie Brown. Her story is a huge reason why the how many question gets so tricky. And that brings us to the current Robin. The biggest shock to the system yet, Damian Wayne. Damian isn't some orphan Bruce adopted. So let's circle back to the original question. How many Robins have there actually been? So who's your favorite Robin?